So now we're going to take a look at the zoom functions, and in order to do this properly and so you can see what's going on, I'm going to import some audio. So to do this properly, you might have the compulsion to just drag audio onto the edit window, which you can do, but it's not the best way to do it. We want to import the audio into the project. So I'm going to select import and audio from the file menu. And then I've got a list of a few wee guitar samples on this folder that I have on the desktop. And I've got this picked acoustic guitar. Now I can audition this just by hitting the play button down here. And that's lovely. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to add it to my import list here. And at the bottom of this import page, you can just see the word done. And once I'm happy with that, I'll just click on that. It'll create a new track for me as long as I click OK. And there we have our new picked acoustic guitar track. Now, we can zoom in on this utilizing the zoom functions. So let's just look at these zoom functions up here and see how important they are and how simple they are to use. To zoom in and out, I have to say the easiest thing I find to do is just to click and drag on the arrows. So if I want to zoom in or out, I just to zoom to zoom out, I click on the arrow and I drag the mouse to the left. And to zoom in, I drag the mouse to the right, and you can see that just changing very easily and very quickly like that. Okay. Now, the buttons underneath here are quite useful as well because they're preset zoom levels. At the moment, 1 is set to that, so we've got about 33 bars on the screen. Then 2 is set to that, which is about 4 bars on the screen. Then 3 is only 3 bars on the screen. Then 4 is not even a full bar on the screen, and then 5 we're right into the absolute minutiae of the part. We can reset those. So if we want something that's very, very zoomed out, so for example, I'll zoom out nearly as far as I can go to that. If I want that to make that level 1, if I hold down the command key and hit number 1, then that will be my 1 preset level. So I'll just click to 2 and you can see that zoomed in, zoomed out level, and then zoom to 1. Click on 1 and you see it's that preset that I just created there, and 5 is that one that's fully down. So I'll just do that one more time. So I'll just create a custom zoom level which I'll set to that, and if I click on hold down command on my keyboard and then click on 3, that will memorize that as zoom memory 3. So there's 2, there's 3, the one I just created, 4 and 5. Okay, and there's 1 again. So I'm just going to show you something else. When I'm zoomed into 3, so that's very easy to zoom in and out. But we can also zoom up or down the actual audio waveform. Now, this is interesting because a lot of people think that that means you're making things louder, and you're not. You're just displaying the waveform larger or with a higher amplitude than you did before, but it isn't actually any louder. So sometimes people record with a very, very low level like this, and they think, oh, they haven't actually recorded that very high. If I click play, you can see that had a very, very healthy recording level of the audio file, but you can't actually see much of the waveform at all, and it's just because it's been turned down here. Okay, so people sometimes determine that as being how loud it is, and that can go silly because that now looks as though that guitar is recorded ridiculously loud, but it's not. It sounds exactly the same. Okay, so just watch that, but we have a vertical zoom as well as the horizontal zoom. So that's the vertical zoom, that's the horizontal zoom. We can also, of course, use the zoomer tool. So if I wanted to look at this bit of the waveform here, if I click like that, then that will zoom right into that portion of the waveform that I had there. A little bump there, let's have a look just at that, and that's what that little bump looks like now on the screen. And then we could use these functions just to zoom back out again, so we can see the full waveform on the screen. So that's the zoom functions. They are very useful and very handy, especially later on when we get into editing.